Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. Got a great show for you here today with the Seattle Mariners versus the Minnesota Twins. First pitch is going to be here in just a couple minutes, so let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Monday, everyone. On the thumb, on the left, the best pitcher in the game, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And on the right, another one of the top center fielders in the game with Julio Rodriguez, Byron Buxton. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners, the hero last night, right fielder Rob Refsnyder. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Actually, he is DHing here today, so let me flip that up here. I switched a lot of the photos up here pre-show. Let's get that situated here. 1 second. Batting third, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, welcome back to the lineup, first baseman Josh Naylor. Let's go Nails. Batting fifth, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting sixth, playing shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting seventh, catching today for Seattle, Mitch Garver. Batting eighth, playing second base, Paul Young. And batting ninth, playing third base, Leo Rivas. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 0-1 record and ERA of 5.01, it is La Piedra Luis Castillo. And now let's get into the starting lineup here quickly for the Minnesota Twins. Leading off in center field, Byron Buxton. Batting second, shortstop, Brooks Lee. Batting third, playing left field, Trevor Larnach. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing for Minnesota, Josh Bell. Batting fifth, catching today for the Twins, Ryan Jeffers. Batting sixth, playing first base, Cody Clemens. Batting seventh, playing second base, Luke Keeschel. Batting eighth, playing right field, Matt Wallner. And batting ninth, playing third base, Tristan Gray. And on the mound with a 0-0 record, ERA of 4.50, Connor Prelip. Tridents up, let's go M's. And again, I tried to get a few new photos in, and then also was checking the updates because we know when we go to Minnesota, more times than not, we have a weather delay. There is rain on the forecast, so it might, get delayed at some point. Hopefully not, and we can get through this whole game without a delay, but at least it started on time. Normally when we go to Minnesota, it's delayed 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, so at least we're going to be able to get first pitch going, and hopefully we'll be able to get the whole game in. We're on a 4-game win streak. Obviously, winning that last game against the A's and sweeping the Cardinals on the road. We've won 4 in a row. We're very confident. We're only 1.5 games back. And obviously, we know that we can be the top team in the AL West. It's just a matter of time. Michelle in the building, what's good? All day in the building, what's good? Alex in the building, Marine Bean in the building, Bob in the building, Angry in the building, TJ in the building, what's good? And again, normally when we go, with weather delays, we typically go, 0 for 4, 0 for 5. So at least we're not having a delay at the start of the game. And hopefully we can get the job done here. Alec in the building, what's good? First pitch. From Prelip to Refsnyder, high and away with the 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Prelip on the mound. And Rob Refsnyder, the hero last night in the box. Who would have thought? That ABS definitely worked. It would have been a strike 3. He challenged, and then a few pitches later ends up hitting the game-winning home run to help us sweep the Cardinals. And again, we won't have any, kind of slighted words towards guys like him if they keep on producing. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Rob Refsnyder. 2-0 pitch, pops it up into right field. Should be a routine play, and it is. And that is 1 away. But it's always great to be able to see guys like Refsnyder, Connor Joe, Mitch Garber, Will Wilson when he gets a chance to come in and, hit a home run in his first at-bat. Anytime you can have the lower guys step up, it'll motivate the guys that are at the top like Cal and Julio, Naylor and Randy to keep, playing the way that they know they can and also feeding off that energy as well. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, who is DHing here today. First pitch to Cal. Fouls that one back behind the plate. 0-1 count. And I tried to go with a theme with all tridents in the lineup. I couldn't find a good photo of Josh Naylor and Cole Young with the trident in the blue uniform, the road uniform. But again, everyone else has got a fresh trident in the photo. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Prelip. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And I apologize, I wasn't able to start a little bit sooner, but again, just getting everything situated screen-wise, photo-wise, and obviously getting the, stream set up properly before the show starts. Sometimes I'm in a little bit of a rush, but I'm glad I got here on first pitch. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees, curveball 82 miles an hour there by Prelip. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And also just, checking on, Kramer and Dreyer, some of the kind of beat writers for the Mariners and making sure that this game was going to be started on time, even though rain is looming. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees, curveball 87 miles an hour there by Prelip. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And hopefully, we can end up scoring a few runs within the first 3 innings. We want to treat this like the Cardinals series and try to be able to jump out to a good lead early and often. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes the big dumper, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 3-hole center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. First pitch, big swing and a miss, low and at the knees. 0-1 count. Slider 87 miles an hour there to Julio Rodriguez. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. And obviously a lot of individuals got the ponchos out. Not a lot of people on the broadcast behind the plate. Maybe some decided to say, hey, I'll just stay home instead. But you can only see about 4 or 5 people there behind the plate, which is a little odd. But again, with the storm coming in, it's Minnesota's fault. How do you live in a place like that and not have a retractable roof? I mean, that's on you. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Prelip. 1-2 pitch, low and into the dirt. Slider, 87 miles an hour there by Connor Prelip. 0-0 record, the lefty with an ERA of 4.50. It looks like there's like maybe 50 to 100 people at the game. But again, we got to find a way to be able to win, even if their fans don't show up. 2-2 pitch, hard hit ball, deep left field. And good defense out there by Trevor Larnach, and that is out number 3. Now, if they would have had a roof, they probably could have had a semi-full building, but just as they panned into the crowd, I'm not sure if I've seen less people at a game besides the Cincinnati Red highlights, where they usually only have a few people in the stands as well. Cincinnati has a good team this year, but I guess their fans don't care. And then with Minnesota, their team isn't, the greatest, but they're not the worst either. But I guess the rain really does have an effect on Twins fans because it doesn't look like too many are there to cheer on Minnesota. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously, with Luis Castillo on the mound, we know that he hasn't been very good. He's been our weakest link with Logan Gilbert in the starting lineup. But again, we got to make sure that he does the best that he can. Magic number, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits for the offense. And hopefully Luis, even though his ERA is around 5, hopefully he can give up 3 runs or less. Preferably 0 to 2, but we know Castillo has struggled at times, but maybe this could actually be a decent start for him on the road. 0-1 record, ERA of 5.01, typically gives up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs, and we just have to pray that if he does that, then the offense can match. Let's see who's up next here for the Twins to start it off in the bottom of the first inning. Leading off for the Twins in center field, a stud like Julio Rodriguez, Byron Buxton. Batting second, shortstop, Brooks Lee. And batting third, in the 3-hole, left fielder, Trevor Larnach. And again, on the mound for the Mariners, 0-1 record, ERA of 5.01, Luis Castillo. Tridents up, let's go M's. We're on a 4-game win streak, and, we're hungry. We want more. I mean, obviously, we got to win the first 2 games before we start talking sweep against the Twins, but it would be great to be able to really start going in the right direction and being above 500. We're only 1 game below right now with a 14-15 record. They're 12-16, 7-6 at home, so there shouldn't be any reason that we can't take advantage of this team that we are better than. 15 subs away from 23,900. 115 away from 24,000. And again, we are approaching 6 million views. Let's go. First pitch from Castillo to Buxton. Little slow dribbler to Leo Rivas. Throw to first. Got him. There we go. Nice job there by Leo Rivas with the good defense, and we love that. Nice job, Leo. Next up for the Twins in the 2-hole, shortstop Brooks Lee. First pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And, obviously we know that, Pacific Northwest fans are built a little bit different. We're mentally tough, and we're going to cheer on our team no matter what the record is. But it's, a little discouraging, to be able to look in the stands and see so little people that care about Twins baseball. But again, I've seen that with quite a few teams. Cincinnati Reds being at the top and still not getting very many fans, regardless of the weather, that show up to their building, game in and game out. So, again, we have to be blessed that we actually have, fans that care and that will travel. 2-0 pitch, fouls went off right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brooks Lee. 2-1 pitch, hard hit ball into left field. Randy is there, and that is 2 away. And again, I'm also happy that this game started on time. And as everyone has remembered, if you are on this channel, pretty frequently over the last few years, or even if you're a newbie, I think we went 0-5 or 0-6, based off rain delay, matchups, whether it was a 30-minute delay or a 5-hour delay. It definitely messes up the Mariner player routine. And I'm just happy that this one started on time. Hopefully we'll be able to finish it before it gets kind of crazy out there. First pitch to Trevor Larnach in that 3-hole spot. Slider, 84 miles an hour, right down the middle, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch from Castillo to Larnach, low and at the knees. Slider, 85 miles an hour to Trevor Larnach, playing there in left field. Larnach in the box, Luis Castillo on the mound. We just got to hope Castillo and Gilbert, and some of those others that have been a little shaky lately, pitching-wise for the Mariners, can get a little bit more consistent. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Change up, 86 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0, Mariners and Twins. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. Slider, 85 miles an hour there by Castillo. At least he's starting to hit the strike zone early, which is nice, instead of giving up back-to-back hits or hitting guys or walking guys. 2-2 pitch, hard hit ball into left field, fading foul. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0, Mariners and Twins. Obviously, rain is in the forecast. But again, hopefully we can get through a majority of this game before we have a delay, since the Mariners typically don't do good with rain delays. Hawks in the building, what's good? Dave in the building, what's good? 2-2 pitch, hard hit ball, down first base and foul. But it's kind of mind-boggling, that a place like Minnesota that has a lot of snow and a lot of rain year-round, that doesn't have a roof, let alone a retractable roof, so that way you can have it open and closed. It's just, why would you build a stadium, in that part of the country without a roof, or at least a retractable roof? Not smart. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Slider, 85 miles an hour, misses by a couple inches there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Trevor Larnach. 3-2 pitch, pops it up and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there by Luis Castillo. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Twins, and we really have turned a corner, since that last A's game, sweeping the Cardinals. We're winners of 4 in a row, but, I want more. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball, shallow right field. And Cole Young and Rob Refsnyder had good communication there. And Rob lets Cole get that ball. And look at that. A clean first inning for Luis Castillo. Someone pinch me. Is this real? I guess with the rain delay and everything else, I'll take it. Good start there for Castillo, which he normally gives up 1, 2, 3 runs more times than not in the first or second inning. And we're scoreless here, and I'll take that. End of the first inning, 0-0, Minnesota and Seattle. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners as we go to the top of the second inning. Right hands up. Let's go M's. Next up for the Mariners, welcome back to the lineup with that little sore quad. First baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting second in the 5-hole, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. And batting third in the 6-hole, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And again, on the mound for the Minnesota Twins, 0-0 record, ERA of 4.50, Connor Prelip. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Let's get it. 15 subs away from 23,900. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 37 likes so far. We're off to a good start, 63 to 100 with 136 in the room. Awesome. I hope you had a good time there. Obviously going to the game, Beard. Dio in the building, what's good? Hawks in the building, what's good? Joe in the building, what's good? All right, here we go. Top of the second inning, 0-0, Mariners and Twins. We're going to have rain at some point, but so far, so good. And first pitch, deep center field and caught. Good defense there by Minnesota. And we will see if Josh Naylor will be able to, impose his will at some point with a game-winning RBI or a big home run at some point. Kind of feels like he's due for a home run, even though he had one just a few games ago and had that game-winning RBI as well, obviously to start off that St. Louis series in game number 1. Next up is Randy Arozarena after Naylor flies out to center to Buxton. First pitch, low and at the knees, towards the hips, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour from Prelip to Arozarena, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. Change up 86 miles an hour there by Prelip. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Yeah, Donovan is still banged up, but again, if they decide not to bring him back within this particular series, I would assume that by the time we come back home to play the Royals, for the Randy Johnson tribute, kind of closer to my birthday, I assume that we'll get him then if we don't get him at the end of this series. 1-2 pitch, popped up, and foul, and bounces into the crowd. And I'm happy that that didn't get caught there for out number 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. And then Victor Robles is still a few days away, had a little bit of a setback. So, they had him, kind of day to day, getting a little bit closer to coming back. And then on the update, they had it pushed out another week to 10 days. So, again, it may be a little bit longer before we see Victor Robles, but And then obviously we know Bryce Miller is still about a month away, and we'll see what happens when he comes back. You can't send Emerson Hancock back, to AAA. He has to be able to stay. If anything, they should probably move Castillo to the bullpen, but who knows what Dan Wilson will do at that time. So we just have to hope that he makes the right decision. Pitch fouled off there by Rosarena. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Prelip to Randy. 2-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Slider 87 miles an hour there by Connor Prelip. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Randy Rosarena. Two pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Randy. And that is 2 away. Next up is J.P. Crawford. J.P. shows bunt, little slow dribbler, and foul. I like small ball. So anytime you can end up getting some bunts down, getting guys moved over from one base to the next, hustle the first base, as long as our, base running, and we use, our brains out there and we don't fall asleep and get caught, napping in between the bases. Again, you got to be able to pull out a little bit of everything, especially with this long 162 game season. Pitch fouled off there by JP. Out of play, 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Connor Prelip. 0-2 count to JP. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. One-two pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Connor Prelip. 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Two-two pitch, low and away. Count now is full. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, missing by Prelip. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the second inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Twins. And you're starting to see a few more people cycle in there. Slow dribbler up the middle should be a routine play. Throw to first, and down goes J.P. Crawford. An easy 1-2-3 inning there for the Minnesota Twins. But you're starting to cycle a few more people through from the concessions behind home plate, which looks a little bit better than the 4 or 5 people they had to start the game. And hopefully they'll get a few more, whether they sit there or not, to kind of fill up the seats. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see who's up next here for Minnesota. Next up for the Twins, cleanup hitter, DH Josh Bell. Batting second in the 5-hole, catcher Ryan Jeffers. And batting third in the 6-hole, first baseman Cody Clemens. And on the mound for the Mariners, again, coming into the game with an 0-1 record, ERA of 5.01. Clean in that first inning. Hopefully he'll be clean and electric in the second inning, Luis Castillo. 4-game winning streak, and I'm hungry. I want more. We need to get above 500. And again, we know that this series is winnable. The Royals will be winnable, but when we play the Braves, that one could get ugly. So we got to be able to rack up as many wins as possible before we end up playing Atlanta, who's playing just like the Yankees in the American League and as good and maybe even, on that same level as the Dodgers and the Padres in the National League. Braves, Dodgers, Padres, Yankees, they're the top dogs now, but give us a little bit of time and hopefully we'll be able to catch up to those teams. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. All right, 49 likes, 51 to get to 100, baby. Let's go. First pitch to Josh Bell, crushes it out of play. Slider 83 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Bottom of the second inning, 0-0, Mariners and Twins. 0-1 pitch, hard hit ball, just over Cole Young's glove, damn it. And that ends up rolling to Rob Refsnyder, and a nice base knock there for Josh Bell. And again, I don't mind, a walk here and there, a guy getting hit once in a while, or giving up a couple singles or a couple doubles as long as they don't come home. First hit there for Josh Bell in the 4-hole. Next up in the 5-hole, catcher Ryan Jeffers. Hopefully we can get a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. I mean, Buxton has been a staple with the team. And, again, if Lee has been on the team, Larnach, Bell, obviously, as a new addition, Jeffers, Cody Clemens. So I would say a majority of the starting lineup, maybe about 6 or 7, were prominent guys from last year. But then there's obviously a few newer additions that, people will have to get used to, like Josh Bell, Luke Keeschel in the 7-hole as Jeffers pops that one up. And wow, what a catch by Josh Naylor over the railing. Are you kidding me? Nice job. Connor Joe wishes he could make a play like that. Wow, we'll take it. Look at Josh Naylor. Looking for the ball, reaching over and squeezing the glove nice and tight to make sure it doesn't pop out of the glove at the very last second. Great play by Josh Naylor. Love it, man. I love two-way players, that can play great offense and great defense. Great job. One away. Next up is Cody Clemens. First pitch to Clemens, pops it up. Randy is there, and there we go. 2 away after Josh Bell ends up getting a big single over Cole Young's head. We were hoping, oh God, is this the start of something bad? But then we get Josh Naylor to get the pop up to Jeffers. Cody Clemens, instead of working the count, he pops up to Randy, 2 away. And now we have one of the other newer additions in the 7-hole, like Josh Bell, Luke Keeschel. First pitch to Keeschel, right down the middle, 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there by Luis Castillo, 0-1 count. Bottom of the second inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Twins. We're on a 4-game win streak. We're feeling good about ourselves. Anytime you have a 4 or 5-game losing streak, or you get swept, in a 3-game set like we did against the Padres, it's a shitty feeling. Let's be honest. This is not the way that we thought the season was going to start, but at least the American League overall hasn't really been very good besides the Yankees. So there's, plenty of time to move up, and we're only a game and a half back from first place. So everyone is doing crappy in the AL West, and we'll be able to get into first sooner than later. Nice base knock there by Keeschel, and we know Josh Bell is pretty slow, but he still scampers to third. Get that ball into play, and Bell coming home. Tag him. Got him. Yes. I was going to say that was a little bit of a delayed throw there by Rob Refsnyder. Josh Bell, he's slow. He's like Josh Naylor or Mitch Garver. He doesn't have a whole lot of speed, and that was probably a bad move by that third base coach, even though Refsnyder kind of bobbled that ball slightly. They're going to review this, I assume, and challenge. But again, the initial look, he looked out to me. But again, we'll have to wait and see what they decide to call here. But hopefully after the review, it will be considered an out. And again, just that little hesitation, made that guy, the third base coach say, hey, bring him home. He's slow as shit, but let's try it. And he almost got there. And hopefully this will hold up for out number 3. See, Refsnyder, he bobbled it right there. And that slight bobble, third base coach says, we're going to go. Nice strong throw from Cole Young. And look at Garver. Got him. It might have been a slight tag to the back of the hair, shoulder. But to me, that looks like he's out. And again, the ump is standing right there and calling him out. But again, we see the hand there, across the plate. But I think the tag was before the hand crossed the plate, though. That'll be close. I mean that last angle that they're showing above, he looks safe in that angle. So, man, this is going to be really close. First angle that I saw, it looked out. The initial play, I thought he was out. But again, the hand going across, home plate, and then the tag on the hair and the shoulder. Man, it's close. Hopefully that is out number 3. We definitely need that. Mike in the building, what's good? I think he's out. I think they got him on the shoulder hair, before the hand, about a semi-second later crosses home plate. They're taking a long look at this. Man, this is going to be interesting. Replay is taking their sweet time. Damn, he's safe. 1-0 Twins. Pretty good throw there by Cole Young, and it looked like he might have been able to get him on the hair or the shoulder slightly. But then after the hand goes over, home plate, Garver thought maybe he missed him, ended up tagging him, and then they ended up calling him out. But again, a kind of a bang play, and unfortunately we end up losing that one. And again, nothing that we can't come back from. First pitch to Matt Wallner, in there for a strike, low and at the knees, 0-1 count. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour from Castillo. No balls and one strike with a runner at second and 2 outs. 0-1 pitch, high and inside. Four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour there by Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike with runner at second, with 2 outs. Bottom of the second, 1-0 Minnesota. And remember, Castillo typically gives up 5 to 8 runs. So, his ERA is 5. We just have to hopefully keep him at 3 or less, and then hope the bats do what they normally do, get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And, if we do that, we should be able to compete in every game in this series on the road. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there by Castillo. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matt Wallner. 1-2 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt Wallner. Got to stop the bleeding. 2-2 pitch. And a hard hit ball that gets deflected off his own leg. Hopefully he's okay. Slider, 84 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Minnesota. Two-two pitch, low and at the knees. Did he hit him? Wow. They grazed him, and Wallner makes his way to first base, and we're already having a little bit of a mini meltdown here by Castillo. Can't afford for them to score any more this inning. Come on, Luis. Yeah, well, the National League, it also depends on who you play. Are you playing good teams? Are you playing, kind of bottom-end teams? But obviously the National League has gotten off to a much faster start than the American League this year, which is a little odd. Usually it's pretty even, with the amount of, good teams in each league. But, again, things will even out as we get closer to the All-Star break. First pitch from Castillo to Gray, low and away. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Castillo, 1-0 count. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. We got to get this last out here. 1-0 pitch, and fouls it off into right field, out of play. Slider, 85 miles an hour there by Luis Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Castillo on the mound, Tristan Gray in the box. 1-1 pitch from La Piedra, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Minnesota. Come on, Luis, settle down and settle in. That bang play at home was unfortunate, but you got to be able to move past it. 2-1 pitch, popped up and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. Bottom of the second, 1-0 Minnesota. And again, after, being down in a number of games, especially that Cardinal game that we came back from and won 11-9, it definitely should give us confidence that, even if we get down by a few runs early, that we're going to be able to come back. Now, if this was the same hitting team prior to the Astros series, we probably wouldn't come back. But we definitely have turned the corner, batting 188 as a team back then, worst in MLB, and now in the 220s to 230s as a team. So we're definitely, getting to where we need to be. Not exactly yet, but, we're definitely going in the right direction. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Castillo to Gray. Come on, Luis. And again, once Bryce Miller is ready to come back, I would put Castillo in the bullpen. Again, you don't want to send Hancock, to AAA, or you don't really be, I don't think we really want to be running a 6-man rotation either. I think you need to put Castillo, in maybe a reduced role. That would be better since he's our worst pitcher, and then, depending on what happens with Bryce Miller, we don't really know how good or bad he's going to be. And again, I wouldn't assume that he's going to be that great when he first comes back. He'll probably struggle for at least a month or two. So, but even him struggling might be better than Luis Castillo healthy. So, facts. 3-2 pitch, high and away. Oh my God, Luis, what are you doing to us fans here? We're on a 4-win streak. You're shitting the bed like you always do. And now you got bases loaded for Byron Buxton, and with one swing, the game could be 4-1. Come on, Luis. But this is by far the worst pitcher, in the staff. There's no doubt about that. And I was actually kind of hoping that we would trade him away in the offseason, but I don't know if really anybody wants him at this point. At this stage of his career, getting up there in age, he's a 5. He's not a 4 or a 3 or a 2 or a 1. And even at a 5, he's borderline 5. He might actually be one of those guys that, should be a 6-man or, someone that's kind of waiting for someone else to get injured to get a shot. So he definitely isn't the same player that he used to be a few years back. So, and hopefully we'll be able to get Buxton, their best hitter, out here in the box. First pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour by Castillo, 1-0 count. And I think with Castillo, with a lot of pitchers, when they get up there in age, they just feel that they can blow pitches back, past the hitters right down the middle like they used to when they were younger. But obviously, once you hit a certain age, you don't got really the same location or velocity as you did when you were in your 20s. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 4-seam fastball, high and inside, 94 miles an hour there by Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike with bases loaded and 2 outs. Got to get this last out. Come on now. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss again. That was lucky. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there on Buxton, who typically is an all-star, and himself kind of started slow in his career with injuries, but has definitely gotten healthier within the last 2 years, and has started to make a little bit more of a name for himself, even though he was highly touted in the farm system before he came up for Minnesota. 1 ball and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 2 outs, and we got to keep this game 1-0. We cannot let that extend the lead here. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Slider 84 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Byron Buxton. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Got to keep the faith. 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Here we go. This should be an easy out here. Get it, baby. Get it. There we go. Nice job by J.P. Crawford, Leo Rivas, and Randy Arozarena hustling for that ball, but they don't run into each other. Communication is good, and Byron Buxton ends up leaving them stranded, and that's a good thing because let's be real. If the rain is a factor, and we can't get to 5 runs, again, that could have been definitely not the end, but it definitely could have put us in a hole that we might not be able to come back from. So great job there, being able to get him to fly out with bases loaded. End of the second inning, 1-0 Minnesota. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners, and let's see if we can tie this game up or take the lead. Next up for Seattle in the 7-hole, catcher Mitch Garver. Looking swaggy with that photo and that trident. Batting second in the 8-hole, second baseman Cole Young. You know, he's a second baseman extraordinaire. We made the right decision to let Polo go, who's injured. And again, Cole Young, a better defender than Polo. And again, even though Polo was hot last year, I think Cole Young will be more consistent, than Polo was. Polo had those hot streaks, but then also he would get ice cold. I don't think you're really going to get ice cold with Cole Young in the entire year. He's really consistent, and we love him. Hopefully, he'll be able to give us some big playability here in the top of the third inning. And batting third in the 9-hole, third baseman Leo Rivas. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Again, 2 more subs since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 13 subs to go. Do 23,900. 113 to get to 24,000. All right, 56 likes, 44 to 100. First pitch to Mitch Garver. Takes a strike looking high and inside. Slider 84 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Slider 87 miles an hour there by Connor Prelip, the lefty. No balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Prelip to Garver. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Curveball, 80 miles an hour by Prelip. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. Let's go, Mitch. And again, we've been getting some good production, out of guys that we normally don't believe in. Guys like Rob Refsnyder, Connor Joe, Mitch Garver, and even Will Wilson getting the call up, from the Tacoma Rainiers and hitting a home run in his first at bat. And it's always nice to be able to have the lower end guys produce to give us a little bit more Uncle Mo and momentum. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. 3-2 pitch, high and away. Good patience there by Mitch Garver, and he ends up going to first with a walk. We'll take that. Nice job, Mitch. Next up in the 8-hole, Cole Young. Let's see if we can get some electricity out of this at-bat out of Cole. I feel that he definitely is already one of the big fan favorites. Obviously we know Julio and Cal are more popular, globally or nationwide. But I think between us Mariner fans, a lot of us like Cole just as much as Julio and Cal and Josh Naylor, as well as Brian Wu and a few others. So I really love what Cole is doing, and I can't wait for Colt Emerson and Kate Anderson get the call up as well. They're going to be fan favorites, as well as Ryan Sloan. 0-1 pitch, low and away. Takes another strike looking on the line. No balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Oh, 2 pitch, check swing. Did he go? And he did not. That would have been a cheap strike out there for Cole. Curveball, 85 miles an hour there by Prelip, missing low and away by a few inches. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Prelip to Young. Mitch Garver at first with no outs. Top of the third, 1-0 Minnesota. Kind of on a fluke play at a throw home that could have went either way. 1-2 pitch, and Young pops it up into shallow center field. Floats into left field, and that is 1 away. We'll have to wait till later in the game for Cole to maybe be one of the heroes today. Next up in the 9-hole, third baseman Leo Rivas, who ended up being the hero in one of those Cardinal games when we ended up getting 2 runs by Connor Joe with a 2-run RBI single in the 8th and a 2-run RBI single in the 9th, and getting 4 runs, in the last 2 innings in the 8th and the 9th to come back and win that game 11-9 over the Cardinals was huge. Definitely one of the turning points of the season. Rivas bunts and it goes foul. As you can see, the rain is already coming down, but hopefully we'll be able to get a majority of this game in. And again, as long as, we can continue to play this game, any type of delay definitely does not go in our favor. Usually we end up going 0-5 or 0-6 in rain delays, typically at the beginning of the start of the matchup. We don't have too many games that get, delayed in the middle of the game, but it is coming down. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Come on, Leo. Slider, slider, slider so far by Prelip. 2-1 pitch to Rivas, and he pops it up. Should be a routine play here at Target Field. And Keishall is there, and that is 2 away. And now we're back at the top of the order, the hero from yesterday, right fielder Rob Refsnyder. And thankfully we have the ABS, because if we didn't, that game would have been over. He challenges the initial pitch, ends up getting the call reversed. A couple pitches later, ends up hitting the game-winning home run. And again, it's nice to be able to see, lower-end guys step up and actually be heroes for the Mariners. First pitch, high and away. Change up, 86 miles an hour by Prelip, 1-0 count. And again, after Rob, started off like 0 for 20, he actually has been decent, within the last few games. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Change up, 86 miles an hour there by Prelip. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. Top of the third inning, 1-0 Minnesota. We've seen Refsnyder rob a home run in right field, hit a home run and get a few base knocks, and we're still hungry for more. 1-1 pitch popped up, and that one is out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. Come on, Rob. Connor Prelip on the mound, and Rob Refsnyder in the box. And obviously, the more plays that our lower-end guys make, the better photos that I'll be able to capture on the stream. 1-2 pitch popped up to shallow center field. Buxton is there, and that is out number 3. Can't get anything going just yet, but hopefully we will before they end up delaying this game with rain. Refsnyder flies out to center to Byron Buxton. Let's go to the bottom of the third inning and see who's up next here for Minnesota. Next up for the Twins, 0 for 1 in the 2-hole, shortstop Brooks Lee. Batting second in the 3-hole, 0 for 1, left fielder Trevor Larnach. And batting third, 1 for 1 with a run, DHing Josh Bell. And his hit was the one that ended up being the one that ended up giving them the 1-0 lead. And again, they only have 2 hits so far, but Keishall doubled the right and Bell scored, and that's where we sit right now. 1-0 Minnesota. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 12 subs away from 23,900. Let's go. All right, we're at 70 likes, 30 more to get to the 100 goal here. All right, we're at 70 likes, 30 more to 100, and we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. I mean, if it's just a little bit of a sprinkle, that's coming down, or a steady rain, you can play a whole game through that. It's just when the downpour comes, and you don't want players to get injured, in the outfield and whatnot, as well as, the pitchers out there. But I don't think the rain is, that crazy at this point for them to call it yet. So, I mean, I hope that we can get through the whole game. First pitch fouled off there by Brooks Lee, right down the middle. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, missing by Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brooks Lee. 1-1 pitch, high and away. Change up 85 miles an hour, missing by Castillo. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Minnesota. Two-one pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away. Slider 83 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Castillo to Lee. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Twins. 2-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour by Castillo again. Count still 2 balls, 2 strikes to Brooks Lee. Two-two pitch from Castillo. Low and at the knees. Change up 86 miles an hour by Castillo, missing. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Brooks Lee. And obviously, if you're new to the channel or not familiar with our rotation this year, Castillo is by far the worst starter on our team. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball. Rivas is there. Throw to first off a 1-hopper. Got him! Wow. Didn't know if he was going to get him there. Good hustle there by Brooks Lee. Rivas with just enough arm strength to make that play, and had to be able to go down to a knee. Kind of an awkward stop, but good attempt to be able to try to get Lee out, and definitely does get him out just in time. And thankfully we got a guy like Josh Naylor with long arms and long legs to make that play, because if that's Connor Joe, he's probably safe. But with Josh Naylor being able to extend his body, big out there. Next up is Trevor Larnach. Deep hit to center field. Julio misses it off the wall. Come on, Julio. And Larnach is going for 3. And again, you don't really see Julio miss too many balls out in center field. But again, with the rain coming down, you have to assume that was a factor. But he missed that ball by about 4 feet as he goes into the wall. Come on, J-Rod. How do you miss this ball by that much? It actually ended up hitting the top of the mitt in that second replay there. Come on, J-Rod. You missed that play and you gave up a triple. A very, rare missed opportunity by Julio in the no-fly zone. Next up is Josh Bell. First pitch, big swing and a miss. High and away, 0-1 count. Josh Bell in the box. And then we obviously saw Larnach just hit that triple off the wall that Julio had on the tip of his mitt but missed. And hopefully Bell does not get another run here for Minnesota. Bottom of the 3rd inning, runner at 3rd, Larnach with 1 out. First pitch. Big swing and a miss for Josh Bell. And this second pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour there by Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Bell. You have to assume if the rain wasn't coming down, Julio probably makes that play, but 1-1 pitch, fouled back behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Minnesota. 1-2 pitch from Castillo to Bell, low and at the knees. Having a really hard time hitting the strike zone. But again, I guess that's better than him pitching right down the middle and giving up home run after home run or RBI after RBI, but all over the strike zone or outside of the strike zone. 2-2 pitch. Almost hits him, and Bell has to hop out of the way. Sinker 94 miles an hour. Castillo looking wild as ever. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, runner at 3rd with 1 out. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Minnesota. We're probably going to need to get a few, big defensive plays and maybe even a double play or 2 to bail Castillo out if we're going to win this game. 3-2 pitch, inside, and a walk to Josh Bell. Castillo looking a little wild here in the rain. Next up in the 5-hole, catcher Ryan Jeffers. And we need a double play. We haven't asked for it yet, but I need a slow dribbler right down the middle to JP, a flip to Cole Young, throw to Naylor. We get out of this inning only down 1. Because if we can't get the double play, realistically with a sac fly or something even worse, we could end up being down 2-0, 3-0, or even 4-0. Come on, Castillo, lock in. Give me that double play, sports gods. First pitch to Jeffers, low and away, slider, 85 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And a lot of these pitches that maybe, hitters would have bit on in the past from Castillo, they're not biting today. If it's about an inch or two off the plate, they're just taking the pitch. 1-0 pitch on the corner and gets the strike call. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third and 1 out. Bottom of the third, 1-0 Minnesota. Rain is coming down. We don't have a hit yet. Castillo's not pitching well. We got to be able to help him out the best that we, that we can. And if that's going to be defense, helping us out with the double plays here and there, or, making some amazing grabs in the outfield, we got to do what we got to do. Pitch fouled off, out of play. Sinker, 94 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Jeffers. One-two pitch, popped up and out of play. But again, the rain definitely is a factor, but let's be honest with ourselves. Castillo in perfect weather isn't good. Again, when a guy gives up 5, 6, 7, 8 runs in beautiful weather, we can't necessarily use the rain as an excuse all the time. Is it a little bit of a factor today? Yeah, but again, he normally is just bad, overall. So 1-2 pitch and a little dribbler into right field, hops right in front of Ref Snyder. That's going to score a run. 2-0 Minnesota. Sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. He's just not a good player. He'll pitch good once out, maybe out of every 5 or 6 starts. And we know Gilbert has struggled, but normally Gilbert is more consistent. And, we still have more belief in Logan Gilbert than we do with Castillo. Bottom of the third inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. We asked for the double play. The sports gods ignored. Now, hopefully we can get the double play so that way we don't end up being down 3-0 or 4-0. Next up is Cody Clemens. First pitch is high and away. Slider, 83 miles an hour, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, fouls that one off towards first base. Slider, 84 miles an hour there by Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cody Clemens. One pitch from Castillo. Hard hit ball. Deep right field. Back, gone! And just like that, 5-0 Minnesota. And again, we're on a 4-game win streak. This is our worst pitcher, by far on the team. Somebody call up Cade Anderson sooner than later. Bryce Miller isn't ready. Unfortunate. But again, for a guy that has an ERA of 5 and who typically is bad, again, when Bryce Miller is healthy, you don't send down, Emerson Hancock. If anything, you send down Luis Castillo or you bring him into the bullpen. And even if when you bring him into the bullpen, I don't really have a whole lot of faith in him. Golly. Next up in the 7-hole, Luke Keeschel. First pitch inside, sinker, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, little dribbler towards third base and foul. And obviously, if we had a run or two at the moment now, it wouldn't be as bad. It's bad, but nothing is worse when you have a 0 and you look up the scoreboard and see a 4 or a 5 up there. And you don't have any hits yet, and we're already in the 3rd inning. So 1-1 pitch, high and away. I wish we would have traded him in the offseason. And again, at some point, it will be Kirby, Wu, Gilbert, Cade Anderson, and Ryan Sloan with Hancock and Miller, all, fighting and jockeying for position, in the starting lineup. But, It is what it is. A little slow dribbler towards third. Rivas, throw to Naylor, and that is 2 away. Wish the sports gods would have gave us that double play and we wouldn't be down 5 right now. Next up in the 8-hole, right fielder Matt Wallner. But regardless if it's good weather or bad weather, Castillo just not good, period. He was pretty good for us in 2022 when we first got him to, help us make the playoffs, but every year after that, if you actually look at, the analytics, a lot of those numbers have been going in a downward trend. Now, it doesn't mean that he can't have a good game once in a while where he can get 7 to 10 Ks, but in 2026, man, unbearable. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Castillo. 1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Wallner. And obviously, Anderson and Sloan aren't ready yet, but they're definitely doing pretty damn good, in the farm. And again, their time will come. And we're still about a month away, from Bryce Miller coming back. And when he comes back, I assume he'll be not very good for a month or two, but you never know. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matt Wallner. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there by Castillo. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 5-0 Minnesota. Yeah, you have to assume Colt Emerson and Cade Anderson will be the first 2 guys that are big names that will get the call up. Those guys will get called up before Sloan, but when will it happen? It would be really sweet if it happens this year. If we can get Colt Emerson called up by June, and then if we can get Cade Anderson called up by, July or August, that would be amazing. Especially if we continue to have problems, with some of our guys like Gilbert and Castillo. But I would put Castillo in the bullpen. That's what I would do. When obviously Miller comes back up. 2-2 pitch, and he goes around, and that is out number 3, but not after. Minnesota has a monster 4-run inning. 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Minnesota. 0 runs, 0 hits, no errors for Seattle. We got to get our first hit, and hopefully our first hit will be a home run, and we can just kind of chip away. And again, who knows who's going to be coming in the pen. Obviously, down 5-0, you have to assume it's not going to be Brash. It's not going to be Bizzardo. Maybe Spire or Ferrer. But again, hopefully the offense can help us crawl back into this game a little. Again, if we're not going to win the game, hopefully we can fight a little bit. But again, getting yourself into a 5-0 hole is not ideal. But again, all we need is one, minor mini meltdown by a pitcher, whether it's, the starter, with Prelip or one of the guys in the bullpen, and we can put up, 1 to 4 runs in a single inning. And hopefully we'll be able to do that at some point. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K, DHing Cal Raleigh. We could really use a home run right here. Batting second, 0 for 1, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, first baseman, welcome back to the lineup, Josh Naylor, 0 for 1. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We've had Gilbert and Castillo put us in holes like this, but even our elite pitchers have put us in holes like this. Look at Brian Wu a couple days ago. He gave up 7 runs in the first 3 innings, but we came back and won 11-9. So, again, when you go on the road, it's a lot different than being at home, in front of the comfort of your own fans and being in a new stadium on top of having rain here today. Not ideal. But it's not like I haven't seen the Mariners come back from a 5-run deficit before. All right, we're at 81 likes, 19 to 100. Let's go, baby. Let's win it for Riz. End of the 3rd innings. Top of the 4th now, 5-0 Minnesota. All right, baby. Got to find a way. Got to dig deep here. But no matter how bad it gets, if you've been a fan of this team, since the 70s or the 80s, having 20 years with no hope of making the playoffs and still watching every game beginning to end, Northwest fans are built different, whether you live in Oregon or Washington. And again, with our team, sometimes it takes a little time, to get things going. You got the Dump 7 here, huh? He's got the sign as well as the custom hoodie, huh? He's ready for number 7 out there. First pitch, Cal Raleigh, hard hit ball, line drive into left field. Unfortunately, though, no home run, and that is 1 away. Down goes Cal. 1 down. Next up in the 3-hole, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. First pitch takes a strike right down the middle. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. Takes another strike right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez, who's actually having one of his, best first half, seasons in his career so far. Just under 300. And again, if you're looking at the numbers within the last 13, 14 games, he's above 300. And, again, overall, right now he's batting .248, but within the last 10 to 15 games, well over 300. So hopefully he'll be able to keep it up. 0-2 pitch. Big miss there by Julio, though. And that is 2 away. And obviously, when we go against lefty pitching, normally we're not very good. And on top of lefty pitching, we have the rain. So obviously, you're, a double-edged sword here today. We got the rain, we're in Minnesota, and we're going against a lefty. But hopefully, we'll be able to have someone to get us going. First pitch, big swing and a miss by Josh Naylor. Slider 86 miles an hour, low and away, 0-1 count. But right now, Prelip is, obviously wheeling and dealing here early. But, we've seen that pretty much all year, regardless if a guy's got an ERA of, 2 or if he's got an ERA of 12, lefty pitching, we struggle. 0-1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. One pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. Curveball 80 miles an hour there by Prelip. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. It feels kind of like, Castillo, where he's good every 5 games. And the same thing goes, I think, with lefties. We're good maybe every 4th or 5th game when we play a lefty, depending on if we're at home or on the road, like we did obviously against the Cardinals. And we were able to find a way to get the job done. But traditionally, in 2026, we're not very good against left-handed pitching. Little dribbler towards first base, toe tap on the bag, and that is out number 3. No hits for the Mariners yet. Come on. I get it. We got Castillo on the mound, but, do we really need to do him that dirty and have no hits on top of him giving up 5? I mean, somebody's got to get a hit. And again, if we're going to have a hard time getting hits, we're going to have to try bunting or, figuring, a different type of strategy here. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning and see who's up next here for Minnesota. Next up for the Twins in the 9-hole, 0-for-0 with a base on ball, 3rd baseman Tristan Gray. Batting 2nd, leadoff hitter, center fielder 0-for-2, Byron Buxton. And batting 3rd in the 2-hole, shortstop Brooks Lee. And honestly, I can't wait, until Castillo is, obviously on another team. Just too much of a liability for us. And obviously, we know J.P. Crawford more than likely won't be on the team next year because Colt Emerson will have the spot. But I like J.P. a hell of a lot more than Castillo. J.P. at least, most of the time gives you good defense. He's been a little shaky on the defense within the last week and a half with a couple errors here and there. And obviously, he's not the greatest hitter, but let's not kid ourselves. He's won us games, in the last few years, even this year. And again, he's not going to get a bunch of home runs, but again, he's pretty smart in the box. He is a fan favorite. And until, Colt Emerson gets the call up, this is what we have to work with. So let's go to the bottom of the fourth inning, 5-0 Minnesota. But I'll definitely miss JP once he ends up being on another team, more than likely next year. But I won't be missing Castillo one bit. I mean, I appreciated what he brought to us early in his career, when we first brought him over. But it just seems like the last few years, too much of a liability for us. 11 subs away from 23,900. All right, we're at 86 likes, 14 to 100. First pitch, high and away. Cutter, 90 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouls that one out of play. Sinker at 90 miles an hour there by Castillo, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tristan Gray. Castillo on the mound, Tristan Gray in the box. And the rain has been coming down pretty steady, but it hasn't affected Minnesota. And another base hit into right field, right in front of Rob Refsnyder. And again, when you end up using a split lineup with no Luke Raley and no Dominic Canzone, you're at a disadvantage, even though, we've seen Refsnyder, win the game for us, obviously, yesterday. And Connor Joe and Mitch Garver have been playing better than expected. But, hard to win games, when guys aren't producing and your pitcher, can't hit the strike zone. Next up is Byron Buxton. First pitch, takes a strike, looking low and away. Four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour there by Luis Castillo. No balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and no outs. Bottom of the fourth inning, 5-0 Minnesota. And Minnesota challenges, and they lose that challenge. Call is confirmed. That's kind of a weird challenge there. I mean, it's pretty much right down the middle in the strike zone, but maybe Buxton thought that was a little bit lower than it was. No balls and 1 strike to Byron Buxton. And obviously down 5-0, and the batters aren't able to hit today. It's not like we're going to bring in our best guys from the pen. We'll save them for tomorrow or maybe the next day. Back. See ya! And Buxton in the upper deck. Holy cow. 7-0 Minnesota. Jesus. I wish Cade Anderson was in AAA right now, so that way we could just, figure out what we do with Castillo, send him to the bullpen, or, not even have him play at all. Send him to AAA, send him to the bullpen, or just not play him. Because, again, this is disgusting. Nice job there by Byron Buxton, but hard to watch if you're a Mariner fan. But, again, you're kind of used to it this year, as well as the last few years. This is what Luis Castillo does. He's not reliable one bit. And, again, with Miller injured, I can't wait until we get Colt Emerson and Cade Anderson on this team. We need them. First pitch, high and away. We should have tried to trade him in the offseason, but I don't think anybody wanted him. Sometimes you're just stuck with guys. And unfortunately, we're stuck with La Piedra, and he's not good. 1-0 pitch. Popped up. And Randy is there, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 3-hole, left fielder, Trevor Larnach. Seven runs, 7 hits, no errors for Minnesota. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Mariners. We're on a 4-game win streak, but that win streak obviously is going to more than likely, end today unless we get one of the biggest meltdowns in the MLB season later in this game, which is not likely. But again, hard to watch. It's one thing if Gilbert does this, when we normally assume that he's one of the top 3 guys with Wu and Kirby, but Hancock has kind of taken that spot this year, and Gilbert has been just as unreliable as Castillo. Not as bad as Castillo overall, but there has been a few games where he's been pretty damn close. 0-2 pitch to Larnach, low and at the knees, and Garver's going to challenge, and we might win this. But again, we have to take the ups with the downs, and that is right on the corner. Nice challenge there by Garver, and that is strike 3 on Larnach. Good challenge there by Mitch, and it's tough, again, losing 3 in San Diego and getting swept felt terrible, but then obviously getting back on track, slightly, obviously winning the last game against the A's and sweeping the Cardinals felt good, but again, it's going to be a very up and down season, and I can't wait until we don't have to see Luis Castillo on the mound in a Mariner uniform. He is fucking terrible. First pitch to Josh Bell, pops it up a mile. And J.P. Crawford comes in, and that is out number 3. And it's one thing if you're going to give up 7 runs, but, at least it would be nice if we had a couple runs on the board ourselves. Like if it was 7-3 right now, we feel bad, but at least, we feel like, okay, we might be able to crawl back into this game. But when you're down 7-0 and it's halfway through the game and you don't even have a fucking hit yet, and then that you're going to be probably bringing in, Cole Wilcox or Cooper Criswell or, a guy like that. I mean, hell, this game might end up being in double digits sooner than later, but let's hope and pray that the Mariner batters, at least somebody, can get something going, and hopefully we can get to at least 5 before this game is over. But again, traditionally, when we play Minnesota, we don't play well. Usually we have rain delays, which, goes into their favor. This is just one city where we come to where we just don't normally play well, regardless of their record. If they have an above 500 record, below 500 record, normally it doesn't matter. And normally we usually end up getting into a rain delay, with this fucking team. And, last year we were like 0-5, 0-6 in rain delays. So we know how that typically goes. Rain delays are not our friend. End of the 4th inning, 7-0 Minnesota. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners to get us off this goose egg. Next up, 0-1 with a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0-1, shortstop in the 6th hole, J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 0-0 with a base on ball, catcher Mitch Garver. And again, teams are definitely, using the strategy on using lefties against us. And when they have a lefty pitcher against the Mariners, more times than not, we lose. So every once in a while, we'll go, crazy, but, it's our kryptonite so far. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Still got to have a little bit of blind faith. All right, we're at 93 likes, 7 more to 100. One-zero pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. 2-0 pitch, low and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. Top of the 5th inning, 7-0 Minnesota. 3-0 pitch, and that is a 4-pitch walk. So at least something positive here. First maybe positive thing all game. And again, we're going to get excited about any little minor thing at this point. Nice job there by Randy. And maybe this will be the start of a little mini meltdown, I hope. Randy goes to first with the walk. Next up in the 6th hole, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. First pitch takes a strike outside. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Prelep. 0-1 count. Top of the 5th inning, runner at first with no out, 7-0 Minnesota. 0-1 pitch. Crushes that one into deep left field. Foul ball. Damn, that would have been great if it was fair. Got to get a little rally here. If we can get 1 or 2 runs, here in the 5th, obviously we're still getting our ass kicked. Let's not, kid ourselves, but, anything to kind of just get going on the board and, just trying to get 1 or 2 runs the rest of the way. And obviously we know with the pitching, they might continue to rack up more, hits and runs, but, hopefully we can get to at least 5 before this game is over. Oh-2 pitch, low and away. Slider 86 miles an hour there by Prelep. 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. One-two pitch, low and away. Slider 86 miles an hour there by Prelep. 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Connor Prelep on the mound and J.P. Crawford in the box. 2-2 pitch, fouls that one towards third base, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Randy with a 4-pitch walk with no outs. Top of the 5th inning, 7-0 Minnesota. Two-two pitch, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Three-two pitch. And that ends up being ball 4. Little check swing there by J.P. that made me a little nervous. But now we got back-to-back walks from Prelep, and hopefully we can make some magic happen here. Next up is Mitch Garver. On deck is Cole Young. Let's see if we're going to have a pitching change here by Minnesota. They got a mound visit here with the whole team. All right, 92 likes, 8 to 100. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Mitch. And we know Mitch, every once in a blue moon will have a big swing. This would be a great time for a 3-run blast by Mitch Garver. Come on, Mitch. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. Slider 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Garv. 0-1 pitch, takes another strike looking, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, right on the line. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second with no outs. Back-to-back walks with Randy and JP from Prelip. 0-2 pitch to Garv, low and at the knees. Good patience there by Mitch Garver. Slider 86 miles an hour, missing by Prelip. Low and at the knees, bouncing into the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and no outs. Top of the 5th, 7-0 Minnesota. Come on, Seattle. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. 1-2 pitch, a little slow dribbler, and it comes through. Yes! And we're going to get at least 1 run coming home, and Randy Arosarena scores. Let's go. There we go. And sometimes you just need, just something, to spark the team. And even though it wasn't the 3-run blast that a lot of us maybe wanted, hell, we'll take an RBI single any day of the week. Nice job by Garv. Arosarena scores, and then Crawford goes to third. And next up, we got a guy that could end up hitting a home run or getting an RBI and getting us a little bit closer here. Like I mentioned, going into this inning, even if we can get 1 or 2 runs, the rest of the way would be great. But you never know. Prelip could have a mini meltdown, and we might even be able to get 3 or 4 runs in this single inning. And if it ends up being 7-4, by the time the Mariners are done, we're right back in it. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. Now Prelip can't hit the strike zone if his life depended on it. 2 balls and no strikes with runners on the corners with no outs. And this typically happens with pitchers, on the Mariners as well as other teams. They'll pitch really well until 1 inning before they're supposed to go out, which most guys, go out in the 6th. But in that 5th inning, whether it's fatigue or, losing a little bit of their control or their grip, and then you start to see pitchers kind of have that meltdown, in the 5th inning, and it happens quite often. Pitch fouled off there by Cole Young, 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Prelip. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. Let's see if we can get a 3-run blast or a big RBI here. Let's go. 2-1 pitch, high and away. Great patience by Cole. Love you. 3 balls and 1 strike with runners on the corners and no outs. We got a nice rally cooking up here. Let's go, Cole. And now they got a pitcher warming up for Prelip there. And it's a righty, so that could play into our favor as well. 3-1 pitch. Pops it up into shallow left field and foul territory. Oh! Crawford scores off the tag up. But what a play. But at least we got our 2nd run on the board, and that's what we wanted, right? 1 or 2 runs the rest of the way. Now, who knows how many more Minnesota will score, but at least at this point, we might be able to get to that 5 number or maybe even more. But hell of a catch here by Tristan Gray, hitting the tarp, and as he falls on top of it. But JP's got enough speed to be able to come in, and Young with the sac fly. We love Cole Young. JP with some good awareness, and just like that, 7-0, 7-2, I feel pretty good. Now, I know we were getting our ass kicked, and we still are, but now with the bat starting to get better and the pitcher having a mini meltdown and a righty coming in momentarily, things are looking up now. Next up is Leo Rivas. Let's go. I would have been thrilled with 1 run this inning, but we got 2. And let's see if we can maybe get 1 or 2 more. Let's go, Leo. 0-1 pitch from Prelip to Rivas, high and away. Change up 86 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Now, if Rivas could hit his first home run of the season right here and make it 7-4, we are really cooking. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Let's go, Leo. Trident's up. Baseball is such a wild game, it's like you never know who's going to be coming in. You never know, who's going to have a meltdown. And then once the starters go out, the game kind of resets. And again, there's a lot of teams that can come back, if you got the right talent in the box, as well as other guys filling in at pitcher to make things happen for your team. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. Let's see if Leo can get an RBI or a big home run here. Come on, Leo. We're still getting our ass kicked, but it feels better being at 2 now. 2-2 pitch, high and away. And every pitch that ends up missing the strike zone makes me feel a little bit better here with this meltdown by Prelip. I got Ref Snyder on deck. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. Take the walk if it's not there. 3-2 pitch from Prelip. And a little dribbler, and he fouls it off himself. All right, here we go. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. Let's go, Mariners. Trident's up. It just kind of sucks. It took us all the way to the 5th inning to get our first hit and our first runs, but, better sooner than later. Let's go. Take the walk, Leo, if it's there. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. He should have been more patient, and that would have been ball 4. Down goes Leo. Slider low and at the knees, and he bit on that, and that is 2 away. Next up is Rob Ref Snyder. Come on, Rob. 0 for 2 so far. You ended up having that really amazing ABS challenge that got overturned. And then a couple pitches later, you hit the game-winning home run yesterday to give us the sweep against the Cardinals. Come on, Rob. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. First pitch in there for a strike to Ref Snyder. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Check swing. Right down the middle. Now behind in the count, 0-2. Slider 86 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second with 2 outs. 7-2 Twins, which is much better than 7-0. 0-2 pitch. And Ref Snyder with a hard hit ball towards third base, but foul. Wish Leo would have had more patience on that pitch. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Ref Snyder, and that is out number 3. But, we have at least something to cheer about and feel a little bit more positive that we're not down 7-0. Yeah, Castillo is terrible. We know that, but at least we were able to manufacture a few hits there and to be able to get a run. So Garver singled to left, Randy scored, Crawford to third, and then Young with the sac fly, Crawford scoring from third, and just like that, with a mini meltdown there by Prelip, we're down by 5 runs now instead of 7. We just got to chip away, chip away, chip away. See who's up next here in the bottom of the 5th for Minnesota. Next up for the Twins, 1 for 2 with a run and an RBI, catcher Ryan Jeffers. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a run, 3 RBIs, first baseman Cody Clemens. And batting third in the 7-hole, second baseman, 1 for 2 with an RBI, Luke Keeschel. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. $11 subs away from 23,900. Let's get it. With the talent that we have, we shouldn't be getting shut out really ever. We got a lot of good players. It's just, sometimes, things get a little out of hand. All right, we're at 101 likes. I appreciate you. And 49 more to 150. We got 155 in the room. Let's see if we can get to that 150 number. Yeah, but again, that's typically what happens. Sometimes you end up getting a little bit of a mini meltdown and you get a couple runs and, you're really thirsty for a few more. But sometimes the sports gods only will allow you to have 1 or 2 and then that's it, And then other times you'll go crazy and you'll get 4 or 5 runs in one single inning, just like they did in the 3rd. So, a lot of times you'll get 1 or 2 and then it just kind of dies off and the Uncle Mo and the momentum ends. So, bottom of the 5th inning, 7-2 Minnesota. First pitch to Jeffers, pops it up, and out of play. 4-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour, 0-1 count. He's at 85 pitches, so hopefully this will be the last inning that we see Castillo. Trident's up, let's go M's. Still have a chance, even though it might be a very, very small chance, but it's much better than being down 7 runs, I'll tell you. 0-1 pitch. That one goes towards third base and foul. Change up 85 miles an hour there by Castillo. No balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Jeffers. He's at 86 right now. .02 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Jeffers. 1-2 pitch. Little dribbler right back to Castillo. Goes past him. Throw to first. Good defense there by Seattle. Man, Cole Young, you are a fucking wizard with J.P. Crawford. Both of you. Great job. Cole Young, you're something else, man. Again, it's just great to be able to have a second baseman that we can rely on hitting and defensively. Next up in the 6th hole, first baseman Cody Clemens. 1 for 2 with a run and 3 RBIs. First pitch to Clemens, low and at the knees, but ends up being called a strike there on Clemens. We'll take that. 186 average and 3 homers so far by Clemens. They said that's high and away, but that was a little bit lower. Sinker 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away. Sinker 92 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cody Clemens. Bottom of the 5th inning, 7-2 Minnesota. And a little blooper there into right field. Rob Refsnyder is there, and that is 2 away. There we go. Ben wants a quick inning, and I think we're going to get one. Next up in the 7th hole, second baseman Luke Keeschel. First pitch down the middle for a strike to Keeschel, 0-1 count. Castillo on the mound, shitting the bed as usual, putting us in a 7-run hole, but we at least got 2 runs back. But we're still down 5. 0-1 pitch, high and inside, sinker 91 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Keeschel. Can't wait for Castillo's spot to be Cade Anderson. 1-1 pitch gets away from Garver, goes behind the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike to Lee Keeschel. Two-one pitch from Castillo, low and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Castillo to Keeschel. Come on, baby, finish this inning. And then we got to try to get 1 or 2 runs in the top of the 6th, and 1 or 2 in the 7th, 1 or 2 in the 8th, and 1 or 2 in the 9th. 3-1 pitch. Fouls that one towards third base. Out of play. Sinker at 92 miles an hour there by Castillo. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. With nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th. 7-2 Minnesota. And he's at pitch 96. His ERA has climbed up to 6.43. He came into the game with a 5.01. And that is strike 3. There we go. Castillo, you're terrible, but I'll take a strikeout for your last pitch. There we go. All right, he's done. Obviously, his pitch count is almost at 100, so we won't have him back. And, we'll see where we go from here. All right, let's go to the top of the 6th inning and see who's up next here for Seattle. And hopefully we get a few home runs to be able to creep up closer to Minnesota. Now, Morris is coming in for pre-lip, so we're going to get another pitcher, a righty coming in, I believe. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K, DHing Cal Raleigh. Batting second in the 3-hole, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third in the 4-hole, Josh Naylor. Andrew Morris is coming in. All right, pre-lip, 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, 84 pitches, 49 strikes with an ERA of 4. And he came into the game with a 0-0 record with an ERA of 4.50. So the lefty is done, and now hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of the righty, and then now we can start to rake. And again, we do much better against righties, and we'll see how it goes the rest of the way. Trident's up. Let's go M's. First pitch to the big dumper. High and inside, 1-0 count. Cutter 87 miles an hour by Andrew Morris. 1-0 pitch, right down the middle for a strike to the big dumper. 1 ball and 1 strike to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, who's 0 for 2 with a K, but we could really use a home run like this photo here. Let's go, Cal. 1-1 pitch, low and away with a sweeper, 81 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Two-one pitch, low and away. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Andrew Morris. Good eye and patience by Cal by not swinging. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, and hopefully we can have a meltdown from Morris and we can get 2 or 3 runs this inning. 3-1 pitch, a little dribbler towards first base, toe tap on the bag, and that is 1 away. Down goes Cal with that little slow dribbler towards first base. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Come on, J-Rod. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, high and away. Sweeper 80 miles an hour there by Andrew Morris. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, 7-2 Minnesota. Much better than being down 7-0. But again, shows you how bad Castillo really is on this team. Slow dribbler towards the pitcher, throw to first, and Julio cannot run it out, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 4-hole, our cleanup hitter, first baseman. Welcome back to the lineup, Josh Naylor. First pitch to Naylor, big swing and a miss. Curveball, 73 miles an hour there by Andrew Morris. No balls and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. Oh-1 pitch, little dribbler towards first base and foul. Change up 84 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Oh-2 pitch, low and away. Sweeper 81 miles an hour, missing by Morris. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. Come on, Nails. 1-2 pitch. Hard hit ball. It's in foul territory by left field and third base, and that is out number 3. Morris comes in and does the job. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning and see who's up next here for Minnesota. Next up for the Twins, 0 for 1 with a K in the 8-hole, right fielder Matt Wallner. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a run and a base on ball, third baseman in the 9-hole, Tristan Gray. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run and 2 RBIs and a big home run in that 4th inning. 2-run blast to give them that 7-0 lead, Byron Buxton. Got to be careful on how you pitch to him. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 11 subs away from 23,900. there. We're at 112 likes, 38 to 150, and we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And Cole Wilcox is coming in for the Mariners, so obviously they're not going to be using any of their top end guys. I figured it would be Wilcox or Cooper Criswell, so we'll see what Cole Wilcox can do, and hopefully we get the good version of Cole and not the bad. First pitch from Wilcox to Wallner. Big swing and a miss. Sweeper, 82 miles an hour right down the middle. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. Slider, 83 miles an hour there by Wilcox. 1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Wallner. And hopefully Cole will not be anywhere near as bad as Castillo was in those first 5 innings. Little dribbler up the middle. Cole Young is there. Get it, Cole. Yes. Cole Young, you have to understand how many runs Cole Young saves us game in and game out. It's ridiculous. And not only is he one of the best at saving runs on the Mariners, he's one of the best on saving runs out of all second basemen in the entire MLB. That's how good he is this year. He's fucking amazing. And again, obviously we know that the hitting has come a long ways as well, but defensively, man, incredible. Next up is Tristan Gray. You got to be able to have a capable, second baseman and shortstop, but you also have to have a capable first baseman to be able to stretch his legs, being able to have long arms and long legs like Naylor has. And they have a great chemistry, with JP Crawford, Cole Young with Josh Naylor at first. And then obviously at some point, later in this year and next year, it will be Colt Emerson and Cole Young throwing to Josh Naylor, which is something very exciting. And we'll have Donovan back at third. And remember, we haven't had Brendan Donovan for quite some time. And we'll be getting Victor Robles back. So, we're going to be getting some new guys, getting called up, some guys that have been injured, Robles and Donovan, and I can't wait. We need to fill up this roster with better players. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss there by Tristan Gray. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wilcox to Gray. Bottom of the 6th, down by 5, 7-2 Minnesota. And again, unfortunate that we got ourselves into this hole with Castillo again, but, And that one goes over Cole Young's head, no chance there. And Ref Snyder collects that ball and throws it into the infield. And a nice hit there by Gray. Next up is Byron Buxton. And I know that, he likes to go deep. But it would be nice if we can get a slow dribbler up the middle for a double play and to get out of the inning. We weren't able to get the double play from the sports gods, and then they ended up going for 4 runs in that inning on Castillo. The least they can do is give us a double play here. We haven't been able to get one yet. The pitching was terrible. It would be really nice to get a double play, here from Buxton, and then we're still only down 5. So, and then if we can end up getting 1 or 2 in the 7th, 1 or 2 in the 8th, 1 or 2 in the 9th, and we can keep Minnesota at 7, who knows? Anything can happen. First pitch is outside, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled behind the plate. Sinker, 96 miles an hour by Wilcox. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first with 1 out. Bottom of the 6th, 7-2 Twins. I love Julio. I love Cal. I love Wu. But something about Cole Young, man. He's definitely climbing the ladder. He's right there, with those other 3 guys for me, for being my favorite players, on the team, no doubt. And I'm a big Colt Emerson guy, and I'm a big Cade Anderson guy too, so just got to be patient. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Byron Buxton. And I do love me some Brendan Donovan. Can't wait for him to come back. 1-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wilcox to Buxton. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And Wilcox is essentially a AAA pitcher that's filling in for Carlos Vargas when he ended up getting hurt. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Sinker, 96 miles an hour there by Cole Wilcox. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Byron Buxton. I mean, as bad as Castillo is, I don't even think I even want him in the bullpen. Like, send him to AAA or just fucking cut him. 3-2 pitch, and that ends up being a walk. Sports gods did not deliver on the double play for us. But maybe we'll be able to get it here. Next up in the 2-hole, 0 for 3, shortstop Brooks Lee. And Carver and Wilcox are having a little mound visit. One of the more challenging cities that we always have problems with, you know, regardless if Minnesota has a good team or not. You know, they have a lot of rain. They're dumb. They don't have a fucking roof, you know, so we usually have rain delays when we play them, and they take advantage of that. They don't even have a retractable roof, and, you know, not very bright out there. First pitch, high and away. Change up, 86 miles an hour, 1-0 count. You know, for a place that has that much rain and snow, you know, and for them to think that having a stadium with no roof was a good idea shows how smart those people are that live there in that part of the country. Not very. A 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brooks Lee. I imagine there's a few smart people that live there, but definitely not the ones that came up with the idea with no roof for the Twins. I'll tell you that. 1-1 pitch, a little slow dribbler. Here we go. Double play. Give it to me. And no throw. And that is 2 away. Fielder's choice. Buxton out at second, Gray to third. Next up in the 3-hole, left fielder Trevor Larnach. 1 for 3 with a run and a K so far. Let's keep them at 7. Let's not let them score any more runs the rest of the game. At least see if we can crawl back into this game somehow, some way. Nice pitch there by Wilcox. Sweeper, 85 miles an hour, painting the corner, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, little dribbler here up the middle. Oh my God, it hits the fucking bag. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What terrible luck do the Mariners have right there? That should just have been a routine play for J.P. Crawford to scoop it into the glove, but before he can get to it, it hits the fucking bag, and then another runner scores. You gotta be kidding me. J.P. should have ran a little bit faster towards that ball, but instead of trying to wait for the ball to come to him, oh, golly. I mean, if you would have ran, you know, towards the ball instead of, you know, waiting for the ball to come to you. Yikes. But I guess when it rains, it pours, literally and figuratively, right? You know, when everything is going our way, like the last 4 games, you know, then, you know, it's like we can't do wrong. But, you know, obviously when, you know, we're having to deal with the rain, being in Minnesota, Castillo on the mound, no hits for the first 4 innings, then I guess that's the type of shit that happens. Next up is Josh Bell. First pitch is fouled off, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and into the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Bell. 1-1 pitch, and fouls that one off towards first base. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and third and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, 8-2 Minnesota. Can't believe that happened, but I can and I can't. You know, it's like I still feel that we can get to 5 before this game is over, but I mean, what are the chances of it hitting the fucking bag like that? I mean, you're only going to have something like that happen a few times in a season. But I guess today was the day. They just want to pour salt into the wound, right? Pitch fouled off then again there by Josh Bell. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, 8-2 Minnesota. I mean, when we have rain delays, we're terrible. You know, we were like 0-6 last year. So, you know, that's usually before the game starts and we have like a 30-minute to 6-hour delay. And then when we play the game, our routine is off and then we just lose. You know, that was last year. You know, we haven't really had any rain delays yet, but you have to assume we're going to have probably 4 or 5, you know, before the season is up. And usually we have them here, you know, at least half of them are here in Minnesota. And Larnach steals second with no throw. 2-2 pitch from Wilcox to Bell. And that one goes towards third base and foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runners at second and third, and 2 outs. We're down by fucking 6 runs. I want us to still try to get to 5 so we can create some momentum going into tomorrow's game. But again, you know, going to Minnesota is never kind to us. 2-2 pitch and a pop up to shallow center field. Julio is there, and that is out number 3. I mean, we even seen Julio miss a ball in the outfield, but again, the rain is a part of it. But you know, maybe we just have, you know, some kind of baseball demons here in Minnesota. It just never works out for us here. But we can still end up recovering tomorrow. All right, end of the 6th inning. Let's go to the top of the 7th and see if we can get a home run or an RBI, or if we can actually get back-to-back hits and we can get on a little bit of a rally. Next up, 0 for 1 with a run, a base on ball, and a K. Left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a run and a base on ball, shortstop J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 1 for 1 with an RBI and a base on ball, catcher Mitch Garver. Right ends up. Let's go, M's. Got to try to get 1 or 2 runs here in the top of the 7th. We need 2 runs in the 7th, 2 runs in the 8th, and 2 runs in the 9th. And then we got to pray that Minnesota doesn't score any more. And that's a big ask. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 4-game winning streak might be coming to an end, but we can still fight like hell. Gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 9 subs to go to 23,900, 109 to 24,000. Let's go. And once we hit 24,000, the next goal will be obviously 25,000. And that'll be an exciting day. We're at 119 likes, 31 to 150. We're approaching 6 million views on the channel. And again, I appreciate every single one of you. Let's go to the top of the 7th, 8-2 Minnesota. Morris is still back out there. All right, normally when things are going sideways, we bring out the Mariner Moose, and that usually helps turn things around, and hopefully it will here. First pitch to Randy, little blooper. Yes! And there we go. The Mariner Moose ends up being good luck for us, and Randy Arozarena with a little bloop single just over the head of the shortstop second baseman there. Great job. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Let's go. Let's see if we can get a nice rally in this inning. Got to try to get 2 to 4 runs here in the 7th. But at least a minimum of 2, 2, and 2 to tie this game up. And that's obviously hoping that they don't score anymore, which might be easier said than done. You know, before this game is over, Minnesota could easily be over 10 runs. There's no doubt about that. But we got to hope that 8 is where they cap out. First pitch fouled off there by J.P. Crawford. 0-1 count. Give us a meltdown. 0-1 pitch, a little blooper. Drop, drop, drop. And Buxton is there. And that is 1 away. Next up, in the 7-hole, Mitch Garver. Let's see if we can get a 2-run blast by Mitch. We need some electricity, Mitch. We're down by 6. We need ya. The Mariner Moose need ya. We need ya. Let's go, Mitch. And a slow dribbler towards the pitcher. Throw to first. And that was 2 away. Not what I was expecting. Work the count, Mitch. Next up in the 8-hole, one of my favorite players on the team, second baseman Cole Young. And honestly, I love him as much as I love Julio, Cal, and Wu. Come on, Cole. I mean, he's like Julio, a great two-way player. And we know Cal usually does a pretty good job behind the plate as well. And, to be able to be a good two-way player, it's everything. First pitch to Young, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking down the middle. Change up 83 miles an hour there by Andrew Morris. That was a good pitch. No balls and 2 strikes with the runner at second with 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, 8-2 Minnesota. Come on, Cole. Oh-2 pitch and pops it up into left field, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, 8-2 Minnesota. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Oh-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Change up 86 miles an hour there by Andrew Morris. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, 8-2 Twins. One-two pitch. Low and at the knees. Good eye there by Young. Sweeper 83 miles an hour by Andrew Morris. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Come on, Cole. 2-2 pitch. Pops it up and goes behind the plate, out of play, thank God. Cutter 88 miles an hour there by Andrew Morris. 2 balls and 2 strikes with the runner at second and 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, 8-2 Twins. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-2 pitch from Morris. And a little dribbler towards first base and foul. Andrew Morris on the mound. Cole Young in the box. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Come on, Cole. We need some Mariner magic, some Soto mojo. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and that is strike 3. Brutal. Just not our day. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning and see who's up next here for Minnesota. Next up for the Twins, 1 for 3 with a run and an RBI in the 5-hole, catcher Ryan Jeffers. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run and 3 RBIs, first baseman Cody Clemens. And batting third, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a K, 7-hole hitter, second baseman Luke Keeschel. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Nine subs away from 23,900. All right, we're at 123 likes, 27 to 150. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And we'll see if Wilcox will be out there still or if they bring somebody else out. Pretty cool mural there at Target Field. Wilcox still out there here for the third straight inning. First pitch to Ryan Jeffers. Takes a strike looking with a sinker. 94 miles an hour right down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and inside, sinker at 95 miles an hour there by Wilcox. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ryan Jeffers. One pitch, low and away, change up 85 miles an hour there by Cole Wilcox. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan Jeffers. Molitor, Winfield, Steinbach, Neagle, and Wilson, huh? Two-one pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. Slider 85 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Jeffers. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Slider getting away from Wilcox there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 7th inning, 8-2 Minnesota. Julio missing a fly ball, on the wall on the tip of his glove. That turned into a triple. JP trying to get a good ground ball for an easy out. It ends up hitting the bag and end up scoring another run for Minnesota. I mean, it's just having Castillo shit the bed, and I wasn't really too surprised about that. But man, it's a nightmare when we come here to Minnesota, regardless if they're a good team or a below 500 team like they are here today. 3-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Wilcox. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 7th, 8-2 Minnesota. 3-2 pitch, and that was inside, and that is going to be an 8-pitch walk. Jeffers to first. Next up for the Twins in the 6th hole, first baseman 1 for 3 with a run and 3 RBIs, Cody Clemens. First pitch fouled off right by the plate. Sweeper 85 miles an hour there by Wilcox. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cody Clemens. One pitch from Wilcox. Big swing and a miss. Slider 86 miles an hour there by Cole Wilcox. That was a nasty pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on, or with a runner at first, and no outs. Bottom of the 7th, 8-2 Minnesota. And we haven't been able to cash in on any double plays. Everything has just gone wrong today. 1-2 pitch, but I do believe tomorrow will be much better, especially if we go against a righty, I hope. So we can have a stronger lineup with Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone, and hopefully we don't have rain. But knowing Minnesota, there's probably a good possibility. One-two pitch, and that is strike 3. There we go. Down goes Cody Clemens. Nice job by Cole Wilcox, and that is 1 away. Next up for the Twins in the 7th hole, Second baseman, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a K, Luke Keeschel. But we got Gilbert tomorrow and then Kirby for the finale, so we still have a chance to win the series. Even after this poor outing here in game number 1, our 4-game win streak will more than likely come to an end, but we can still rebound. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, little slow dribbler to third base, and no throw from Leo Ribas. All right, Keeschel on an infield single to third, Jeffers to second, and this would be a great time for a double play. I mean, again, if we're not going to be able to win this game, I hope we can still get to 5, but... And now Dan Wilson says, Cole Wilcox, you are done. All right, Alex Hoppe is going to make his MLB debut, it looks like. All right, Alex Hoppe from the Tacoma Rainiers making his first professional start here for his career. And again, hopefully, ends up pitching well. But who knows, obviously coming into a game for the very first time in your MLB career with, runners at first and second with 1 out, a lot of pressure. But hopefully Alex Hoppe will be an asset to our bullpen. We have a lot of guys that are liabilities. And again, it would be great, to actually have a guy that we can trust with Brash and Bizzardo. With Spire and Ferrer and Cole Wilcox and Cooper Criswell, it's very hit or miss. And it would be awesome if we could end up having another guy that we could trust. Alex Hoppe, let's go, Alex. First pitch in there for a strike with a slider. I like his delivery, looking at his body language and just, kind of the aura and vibe you get from a guy. Obviously, one pitch doesn't tell a career, as we know, but, just the way that, his body language and the way that he throws, I kind of like what I see there. And hopefully he'll be able to get us out of this jam, either with a double play or maybe he'll punch out the first 2 guys in his career. That would be great. 0-1 pitch to Matt Wallner incoming. Big swing and a miss. Ooh, I like this. No balls and 2 strikes to Matt Wallner. I like what I see. It's a small sample, but again, I like the swagger. I like the aura, and I like the way that, the pitch delivery. It looks smooth out there. He looks confident, even though he probably has butterflies. 0-2 pitch, popped up, and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Matt Wallner. And I mean, with all of the, pitching woes that we've had, I mean, we're kind of due to be able to have a guy to come in to be good, right? I mean, Vargas got injured. Castillo and Gilbert haven't been good. Mooney hasn't really been good. It would be awesome if this could end up being a stud. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And his first batter, he ends up punching out. Alex Hoppe, let's go. Who knows? Maybe Hoppy will be the third best. Maybe it'll go Brash, Bizzardo, Hoppy. I mean, imagine if that ends up happening. And then we don't have to rely on Spire and Ferrer and Cooper Criswell and Cole Wilcox as much. I mean, those guys are going to come in, Spire and Ferrer, as lefty pitchers. But to be able to have a righty that's better than Cole Wilcox, better than Casey Legumina, better than Cooper Criswell, and a guy that we could add on with Bizzardo and Brash would be amazing. First pitch to Gray, high and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. Slider 88 miles an hour low and into the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hoppy to Gray. I like what I see. Again, I like the delivery. I like the swagger, the aura. He's got butterflies, but again, he pitched well in AAA, and we're due for something good to happen to us this season. Things have definitely not really gone our way, and we definitely could use another stud in the bullpen. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Man, he's nasty. His slider is nasty. 87 miles an hour. Give me a punch out for his first 2 guys. Let's build up the hype here with our guy, Alex Hoppy. I love him. Let's go. Give us more Hoppy. And then they can end up doing some type of, hops for Hoppy, and some kind of, some kind of beer, obviously type of gimmick there back at T-Mobile. Hops for Hoppy. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Let's go. Dude, are you kidding me? Comes in his very first game with runners at first and second and punches out the first 2 guys. Let's be honest. How many guys could have done that? Not many. That was huge. We might end up having a new fan favorite in the bullpen, Alex Hoppy. Let's go. Slider was nasty. I like what I see. Let's go, baby. And he's got to be thrilled, man. Awesome. Way to bring the electricity even down by 6 runs. I love him. Great start. Punching out the first 2 guys that he sees. Man, maybe we have another Brash or Bizzardo on our hands. Could you imagine how much better the team would be is if we have 3 righties that we could trust with Brash, Bizzardo, and Hoppy, and then we have guys like Ferrer and Spire that we trust maybe 50% of the time, but those would be the next guys in line, and then the guys in the very back would be like Cooper Criswell and Cole Wilcox. Okay, I like what I see. Great job by Alex Hoppy. Way to bring the electricity. I'm hyped. Let's go. All right, let's see who's up next. Here for the Mariners in the top of the 8th inning. We need 3 runs in the 8th and 3 runs in the 9th. I know that's crazy, but that's what we need. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K in the 9-hole, third baseman Leo Rivas. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, right fielder Rob Refsnyder. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, DHing today, big dumper Cal Raleigh. And again, out of, Castillo shitting the bed and, giving up 7 runs and having the rain and having Julio miss that ball in center field off the glove. And having JP have that one hit the base and, get deflected, and having the rain and Minnesota not having a fucking dome and, everything going against us. The one good thing that happened today, Alex Hoppy. Okay. And sometimes you got to be able to find a bright spot in a bad moment. And again, a little bit of sunshine in a big storm that we're going through right now. And I like what I see. I mean, there's pitchers that end up making their debut that give up a home run on the first pitch. I seen one a couple days ago, on my feed on MLB. So, to be able to punch out the first 2 guys and have guys already on first and second base, all that pressure, I love it. First pitch from Morris to Rivas, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, kind of a weak swing there by Rivas. Change up 84 miles an hour, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. And again, we've definitely needed bullpen, chemistry. And again, if we can have Brash, Bizzardo, Hoppy, and then Ferrer and Gabe for, left-handed pitchers, and then things could get maybe a little bit better for us. So that way we don't have to see Cooper Criswell or Cole Wilcox as often. 0-2 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. 1-2 pitch, check swing. Does he go around? And yes, he does. And that is 1 away. Next up, 0 for 3 with a K, right fielder Rob Refsnyder. On deck, big dumper Cal Raleigh. And anyone that is still a hardcore fan watching this game, that's going to be the one bright spot, besides us getting the 2 runs, is Alex Hoppe. Because again, everything has gone against us, but I mean, if he can end up being like, one of the top 3 guys in the pen, which I think he can be, that would be magnificent for us to give us a little bit more stability in the bullpen. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Cutter 87 miles an hour. 2 balls and no strikes from Morris to Refsnyder. And we also got Sloan and Kate Anderson as pitchers that are going to be called up at some point. So can't wait, man. It looks very calm, cool, and collected out there. And 2-1 pitch, and nice. Rob Refsnyder with a little bloop single into right. Nice job, Rob. Everything going against us, and at least we got a few guys that are trying to ball. Nice job, Rob. Rob has really improved, in the last few games. Hitting the game winner yesterday, and you can definitely feel the momentum has shifted after he started, the season 0 for 20 or whatever it was. He's a much better player now, thank God. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. This would be an awesome time for a 2-run blast to get us to 4. First pitch to Cal, fouls it behind the plate. 0-1 count. Alex Hoppe, man. I'm glad they saved him, for this game and didn't bring him in the athletic game, which they were almost, considering. Cal, hard hit ball, deep right field. Gone! Let's go! You ask for a home run, you get a home run, baby! Let's go! Cal Raleigh, home run number 7. And again, moments ago, we asked for the home run. Can we get it to 8-4? Sports God said, I ignored you on the double play earlier, but I will not ignore you on a 2-run blast by Cal Raleigh. Sports Gods bringing the electricity. 8-4 Twins. Let's go! I got the Cal hoodie on, had a good feeling today, just didn't want us to get in such a deep hole. Julio on the first pitch, flies out to right, and that is 2 away. Wish Julio would have worked the count there. Julio would have gotten to maybe the 3rd or 4th pitch. Maybe we could have had back-to-back home runs. And just like that, we went from 8-2 to 8-4. Too bad Castillo just put us in this such deep hole. Imagine if the Twins were at like 5 right now. We could literally come back and win, but again, shit happens. Next up is Josh Naylor. Let's go, Josh. Bring some electricity, baby. And like I said earlier, I wanted us to get to 5, and we're knocking on the door. And again, anything that you can get in the game when you're getting your ass kicked will carry over to tomorrow, as well as the last game. We got Gilbert on the mound tomorrow, and then we got Kirby on the finale. So still a chance, as long as Logan Gilbert doesn't pitch like fucking Castillo and we can get some fucking runs on the board, we have a very good chance of winning tomorrow. And then with Kirby on the mound, I mean, we feel very confident right now. He's probably our best pitcher, as far as win-loss record and consistency. And Wu would have been in that category if he didn't have that meltdown against the Cardinals and gave up 7 runs. But, overall, Wu has been pretty damn good. A couple bad games, a couple bad starts, but overall still pretty good, just like Emerson Hancock. 2-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 3 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor. 3-0 pitch and a walk to Josh. Here we go. A little mini rally. The Northwest Sports Fanatics loves it. Rick Rivs loves it. And now, with Naylor walking, we got Randy Arosarena. If Randy hits a home run and we can get it to 8-6, we literally could have a chance to come back. Come on, Randy. I got all the photos with the tridents for everyone that I could find. Couldn't get a good one with Naylor in the blue uniform or Cole Young, but if you noticed, every photo that I've used, they got a trident in their hand, and I knew that they were going to need a little extra help today. Being in Minnesota, we normally traditionally don't play well here with all the fucking rain. But I'm proud of this team, again, a little bright spot, with everything that's happened to us, right? Young with the sac fly, Garver single to left. You know, Alex Hoppy fucking striking out his first 2 guys, and then Cal Raleigh giving us a big home run with Rev Snyder on board. Like, you know, not everything is going to go our way. And obviously, you know, sometimes things are going to go sideways. But, you know, I'm proud of this team, you know, of not just rolling over and losing 8-0. So we got way too much talent to give up on ourselves. First pitch from Morris to Randy. Hard hit ball, deep right field. Off the wall. Wow. And Naylor goes into third. Oh, and they say Randy is out at second, but we might need to replay. Randy was super aggressive. I didn't know if he was going to try to get a double out of that. He probably should have just stayed at first for a single. But let's see if this ends up getting overturned. Hopefully Randy gets his foot in there first. Let's look. Ooh, he might be safe. He might be safe. That angle was kind of tough to see, but let's look at this reverse angle here. Get out of the way. Ooh, it looked like the foot tapped the bag before he got tapped on the shoulder. Let's look at these replays. Oh, he's safe. He's safe. He looks safe to me. That foot gets in there before the tag on the hip, in my opinion. I mean, we didn't get the call at home, you know, where it might have gotten his hair or a part of the jersey and then ended up tagging after the hand, you know, hit home plate. But as I'm watching these replays, every replay I'm looking at, he looks safe. He gets in there. He's in there almost a full second before the tag. Foot is on the bag. And again, if we can have him at second and Naylor at third, and then we end up, you know, getting a JP Crawford 3-run blast, and then all of a sudden it's 8-7 going into the ninth, we could actually come back and win. I mean, that's kind of a crazy thing to say when you're fucking down 7-0, you know, but, you know, we're chipping away. I'm proud of this team. What? Call confirmed. What are they smoking? You got to be kidding me. No way. Who's on the payroll? Who is on the payroll? Unbelievable. He was safe. Every angle in the replay showed safe. Unbelievable. And again, who you know, with JP up, you know, and again, you got to think it would have been JP, Mitch Garver, Cole Young, and then depending on, you know, if they ended up swapping out Mitch Garver for like a Luke Raley, you know, individual type, obviously he's catching, so he wouldn't be able to do that. It would have to be Cal, you know, if he was the DH. But damn, we got screwed on that one, and we haven't really got screwed too often, you know, with the ABS. I don't know. That was close. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and we're down by 4. Yeah, but there's a moment, you know, after you get into the bag where, you know, time can be called and then the play is kind of dead, you know. So to say his foot was off the bag, I mean, how long are you going to give the person to tag you at that point before the play is called dead? Next up for the Twins here in the bottom of the 8th, 1 for 3 with a run, 2 RBIs and a base on ball, center fielder Byron Buxton. Batting second in the 2-hole, shortstop 0 for 4, Brooks Lee. And batting third, 2 for 4 with a run, RBI, and a K, left fielder Trevor Larnach. Gilbert versus Joe Ryan, Kirby versus Taj Bradley. All right, here we go. And we still got Hoppy out there. Let's go. Let's see how good Hoppy can do here. Would love for him to be able to strike out the side. I know that'll be definitely tough, but if he ends up doing that and getting 5 punch-outs, we got something real cooking. First pitch low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away, sinker 96 miles an hour. 2 balls and no strikes to Byron Buxton. .20 pitch, takes a strike looking low and at the knees. Sinker 97 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Byron Buxton. .21 pitch, fouls that one off. Behind the plate, slider 88 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Byron Buxton. .22 pitch, big swing and a miss. There we go. 3 batters, 3 punch outs. This might be our new phenom in the bullpen, Alex Hoppe. Let's go. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts. I love it. Matt Brash, Edward Rizzardo, and Alex Hoppe. The 3 Musketeers. Let's go. Next up, in the 2-hole, 0 for 4, shortstop Brooks Lee. Strike his ass out too, as well as Trevor Larnach. Let's see if we get 5 punch outs here out of Hoppe. First pitch, low and away. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. The one bright spot besides the Cal Raleigh home run, Alex Hoppe, looking great. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes from Hoppe to Lee. I'm impressed. I like what I see. 2-0 pitch goes into the dirt. 3 balls and no strikes to Brooks Lee. Come on, baby. Got to pitch a little bit higher. A lot of his pitches are a little low in the strike zone. He's getting those guys to bite on that slider more times than not. Got to get a pitch a little bit higher in the strike zone here. 3-0 pitch. There we go. There we go. Right down the middle. 3 balls and 1 strike to Brooks Lee. .31 pitch, high and away, and his first walk in his career. But he got 3 punch outs so far, so I'll take that. Hoppe making his MLB debut, looking so good so far. Next up is Trevor Larnach. First pitch is high and away. 1-0 count. Now Garver is going to have a little talk. Be interesting to see, when we end up having Cal Raleigh behind the plate and the pitches that he'll call with Hoppe. And again, it'll be very exciting to see his development, because we definitely need bullpen help. There's no doubt about that. And it's about damn time that we get rewarded with someone really good. Bottom of the 8th inning, runner at first with 1 out, 8-4 Twins. Mariners are scratching and clawing the best way that they can to try to get to 5 before this one is over. .10 pitch. Low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes from Hoppe to Larnach. So he got 3 punch outs on his first 3 batters, then he walked. Batter number 4, and he's got to be careful to not walk batter number 5. 2-0 pitch, high and away, losing a little bit of control here. Butterflies and nerves probably very high here, as well as being in the rain. 3 balls and no strikes to Trevor Larnach. Come on, Hoppe. Settle in. I know this is an exciting time for you. 3-0 pitch. And another walk. So 3 strikeouts and back-to-back walks. So it's either really, really good or a walk so far. Next up in the 4-hole, DHing Josh Bell. Well, also, he's going 2 innings, in his debut. That has something to do with it, too. A lot of guys, they just pitch 1 inning. To actually have a guy go 2 innings in his MLB debut is pretty rare. Come on, Hoppy, settle in. There we go. Nice pitch right down the middle there from Alex Hoppy. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. High heat on Josh Bell. 0-1 count. Don't be negative. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Like, who are you going to bring in? You want to bring in Cooper Criswell? I mean, the chances of us coming back and winning this game is slim to none at this point, so. 1-1 pitch. Hard hit ball by Josh Bell. Line drive right there. Throw back to first. And not in time. 2 away. Nice job there by Rob Refsnyder with the defense on that hard hit ball by Josh Bell. Next up in the 5-hole, 1 for 3 with a run, RBI, and a base on ball, catcher Ryan Jeffers. First pitch right down the middle there by Alex Hoppy. Slider 88 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, little dribbler, just past J.P. Crawford. Lee's going to come around and score 9-4 Minnesota. Runners at first and third now with 2 outs. Let's see if we can get this final out here before they get to double digits. Next up, 1 for 4 with a run, 3 RBIs and a K, Cody Clemens. First pitch, high and inside, 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Alex Hoppy, 1-0 count. Bottom of the 8th inning, runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. 9-4 Minnesota. One-oh pitch. Beautiful slider in the zone. 88 miles an hour there by Hoppy. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. Hoppy on the mound. Clemens in the box. 1-1 pitch from Hoppy. And no throw to second. Two-one pitch, a little line drive over JP, and it goes to Julio. Another run scores, and that's double digits there for the Twins. (11-4) Minnesota. Well, obviously we're not going to come back and win this game, but I would like us to get to 5 if we could before the game is over, but that might be a big ask. Clemens singles the center. Outman scores, Jeffers scores as well, and 2 baseballs just over the head of J.P. Crawford. Can't get it done. Now, if that was Colt Emerson, in that position, maybe he ends up making one of those plays. A little bit taller, a little bit longer arms. First pitch from Hoppy to Keyshaw, high and away, 1-0 count. One-oh pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Keyshaw. Come on, Hoppy. 2-0 pitch, high and away. having a little bit of a mini meltdown after, getting the first few batters out. But again, when most people make their MLB debut, they pitch 1 inning as a bullpen guy. They don't pitch 2, This is just kind of a special circumstance, and, they probably just should have had him pitch the 1 inning. But they got a little greedy. 3-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking with that cutter, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Hoppy to Keyshaw. Three-one pitch. Gets a strike there on the corner, high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Hoppy to Keyshaw. Come on, Hoppy, finish. Three-two pitch and into the dirt, and it is a walk. Yikes. After striking out the first 3 batters, he definitely is going sideways, but that's kind of the story for us here. And Woodworth is coming out to have a little conversation. Next up is Matt Wallner. First pitch from Hoppy to Wallner, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss there by Wallner. Slider, 87 miles an hour there by Hoppy. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, 11-4 Minnesota. 1-1 pitch right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hoppy to Wallner. I mean, if they just would have, not have him come out this inning, and he could have just, had that, confidence and that, 2 strikeouts to finish off the 7th. That's where it should have been done. But, 2-2 pitch and a little dribbler towards first base. Get it. And there we go. Nice toe tap on the bag for out number 3. So obviously it didn't go the way that he wanted, here in the 8th inning, obviously giving up a few runs and whatnot, but it was very clean with those first 2 punch outs in his first 2 batters. But, after that 3rd strikeout in that next inning in the 8th, again, they end up putting up 3 runs there in the 8th inning, and now we're down 11-4. And again, obviously we're not going to be able to get a 7-run rally to tie the game up or an 8-run rally to win the game, but it would be nice if we could get 1 more run, to get to at least 5, but we will see if we have the right batters in play to potentially make that happen. Let's go to the top of the 9th inning, and let's see who's up next here for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a run and a base on ball, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, 1 for 2 with an RBI and a base on ball, catcher Mitch Garver. And batting third, 0 for 2 with an RBI and a K, second baseman Cole Young. And I'm desperately missing, Brendan Donovan. Can't wait for him to be able to come back. And any game that we have that doesn't, have Luke Raley or Dominic Canzone, it's hard to win, when you don't have some of those guys that we usually can rely on game in and game out. So we will see what happens tomorrow. I believe, we're going to go against a righty pitcher in Ryan. So, we'll have Luke Raley and Canzone in the lineup tomorrow, and hopefully that'll lead to a victory with Logan Gilbert not shitting the bed. And then we got George Kirby on the finale. And we know more times than not, George is amazing. So Okay, we gained 4 more subs since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. Five subs to go to 23,900. And we're at 142 on the likes, 8 more to get to 150. First pitch takes a strike, looking high and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away with a cutter. 87 miles an hour there by Rogers. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Come on, JP. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Sinker, 89 miles an hour there by Rogers. 2 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. I'm actually kind of shocked that we got through this whole game with all that rain that came down, but it's much better than having a doubleheader tomorrow. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. Sinker, 90 miles an hour there by Rogers. 3 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Come on, JP. 3-1 pitch, a hard hit ball right up the middle. Throw to first, and that is 1 away. All right, we're down to our last 2 outs here. Next up for the Mariners in the 7-hole, catcher Mitch Garver, and then on deck Cole Young. Come on, Garv. First pitch to Garver. High and inside. Sinker, 91 miles an hour by Rogers. 1-0 count. .0 pitch, low and at the knees. Cutter, 87 miles an hour by Rogers. 2 balls and no strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 9th inning, 11-4 Minnesota. 2-0 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Mitch Garver. Cutter, 87 miles an hour, missing by Rogers. Four-game win streak is going to come to an end, but again, hopefully we can still win the series. You know, if Gilbert pitches well and Kirby pitches well, we should have a chance. And we got to get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, and not have meltdowns like Castillo had today. We can't have back-to-back meltdowns with Castillo and Gilbert. 3-1 pitch, high and away, and good eye there by Garver and taking the 5-pitch walk. Nice job, Mitch. Next up, in the 8-hole, second baseman Cole Young. Let's see if Cole can get a RBI or a home run here. Obviously, we know we're down by too many at this point to come back, but let's see if we can get another positive thing here for the Mariners before the game ends. First pitch is high and away. 1-0 count. Appreciate you. You know, things are, not going to always go our way, but again, it all depends on how long of a fan you have been of this team. And, this is my favorite team. I love being able to watch and call games. And, sometimes, it's therapy that we have to be able to share when things are going wrong. But then we can also have that joy and celebration when things are going great. So, and we had 4 games in a row where things went great. So, especially that big comeback where we came back and scored 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th and won 11-9, over the Cardinals. That was a real, a monumental springboard win. And just unfortunate, with the rain and, all of this that's happened in Minnesota. But traditionally, when we come here, we don't play well, because usually we have a rain out or a delay. And, we didn't have a delay, but we, pretty much did, based on our performance. 2-1 pitch. And a line drive right there and a toe tap on the bag for the double play. And that is it. Tough, but again, Alex Hoppe initially was good and then had a mini meltdown. We got a Cal Raleigh home run, but again, we just didn't have enough. And again, when you have a pitcher that you can't really trust, our worst on the mound, and when they give up a lot, it's really hard to come back when you get dug in a hole like that. So again, I'll be live tomorrow, and again, we'll get back on track, and we have a good chance of winning, hopefully with Logan Gilbert pitching somewhat well. Final score, Minnesota 11, Seattle Mariners 4. Our 4-game losing streak comes to an end, and again, it's not a fun trip when we come to Minnesota, really ever, if we're being honest. But again, we got Gilbert on the mound tomorrow against Joe Ryan, and then we got George Kirby in the final. So I still think we have a good chance of winning the series, even though we're dropping this first game to Minnesota. GG to all the Twins fans out there, and again, hopefully things will get a little bit better. Let's go over the stat line here just real quick. And then again, not a whole lot to go over with the Mariners, but let's go over it here real quick for both teams like we usually do. All right, so Byron Buxton 1 for 4 with a run and a home run, 2 RBIs. Obviously opened the game up when it was 5-0 to 7-0. Brooks Lee going 0 for 4. Trevor Larnach 2 for 4. Josh Bell 1 for 4. Ryan Jeffers 2 for 4. Cody Clemens 2 for 5. Luke Keyshaw going 2 for 4. Matt Wallner 0 for 4. And Tristan Gray going 2 for 3. And then as far as the Mariners, Rob Refsnyder 1 for 4. Cal Raleigh 1 for 4 with that big home run. Julio 0 for 4. You got to be better tomorrow. Josh Naylor 0 for 3 as you as well. Randy Arosarena 2 for 3. JP Crawford 0 for 3. Mitch Garver 1 for 2. Cole Young 0 for 3. And then Leo Rivas 0 for 3. So just way too many guys going, 0 for 3, 0 for 4. But this is really the reason why we lost. Right, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 97 pitches, 62 strikes. His ERA was 5.01 coming into the game. Now it's 6.35, and it's no doubt he is the worst on the team. And I can't wait for the day where Cade Anderson takes his spot. He's just not a good pitcher anymore. And hopefully Cade will continue, being dominant in the farm system, and hopefully we'll be able to get him replaced sooner than later. So final score: Twins 11, Mariners 4. Hope everyone has a good rest of their night, even though with the L. We'll bounce back tomorrow with Gilbert, and the next day with Kirby. And again, we got to be able to win it for Riz. This is our 50th anniversary, 40 plus years on the radio. We got to be able to win it for Riz. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I am out. Tridents up. Go Mariners.